All right. Hi, everybody. This part's gonna be for a YouTube recording. Anybody watching on Twitch? So, going back to the charts, we are looking at YFI now. We were looking at Ripple earlier. Ripple is yet to make its move. Still believe it's going to $1 eventually. You can be salty and hate all you want. The charts don't lie; they never lie. And we're also looking at Uniswap yesterday. If you were watching yesterday, then you would have caught a 10% move. If you were using leverage trading, 10% is a nice little chunk. Anything that's anticipated, any move that's anticipated, it's good. It's going to be good for your profit margin, whether it's upside or downside. 10% was anticipated. Before a move back down to support, ideally you can get back into Uniswap. I would suggest getting back into Uniswap if you're out in profit or you're back to support where it's at with your trade. That's what I'll be doing. But anyways, we're here to talk about YFI now. I see off top, I see a 50% potential from where we're at now. We are currently at 17,300, flirting in between there. We're looking at ascending triangle, fractal. I circled what is considered a copy of what's happened in the past, and if you and at the same time it's at a higher level. If you look at MACD, the MACDs are comparable, and we would hope. With everything going on right now, we're in a bull market right now. Being that we're in a bull market, we're hoping that we're anticipating that we see the same upside move here over here, and that's where we're getting the idea that we're going to have a 50% move up. RSI is nearly identical. This area is nearly identical to where we're at right here. Those two indicators alone, on top of looking at the descending volume profile we have here, we have the flagpole obviously needs, this flagpole here is what we call flagpole. It needed a lot of volume to validate the next future moves, especially if we're to create an ascending wedge like we're creating now, which is one of my favorite chart patterns and very bullish chart pattern, especially when you're in a bull market. You also want the volume to descend along with it, because we're going to want, at the end of this flagpole, we're going to want another flagpole. Basically, we're going to want another huge volume breakout like we see here, like we see happened here. To create the base, we want to see the same thing going on over here. I think we're going to have a move pretty soon. If we're looking at the length of this ascending triangle, typically from the start to finish, you want to see a breakout somewhere 80%, between 70 and 80% of the way of the length of the ascending triangle. So we should see, and this is a 4-hour chart. Honestly, so we got the bounce off of support again. Let's see if hopefully we hold it. Let's see if we hold that support. We have an hour and 10 minutes. Hopefully we're going to see some green coming up here on the next candle, and hopefully that candle will close and confirm that we had a bounce off of that ascending trend line, this ascending trend line here, and then hopefully with the fourth test we can finally break out. It seems four seems to be the charm. Fourth time seems to be the charm during this market bull run, including Bitcoin. We have a weakening test of this weakening resistance line here. Fourth time should break it through, and we should see some sort of an upside. We'll see typically how far it goes. 21,000 is also a good area to look into taking profit, especially if you're leverage trading. Take some profit, let the rest of it run, do what it may. If it comes back to support, which we should, if we're looking back at this fractal, we're looking back at this fractal. We had a breakout to what is that? Around 19,300, but then within the same candle, we started lower. We broke out and then we started lower and then made our way back up. So that satisfied the support touch here. The support would be somewhere around this thin red line before we created another accumulation pattern and then another breakout. So you want to play it safe and add back in at support somewhere over here, somewhere in this zone right there. You want to add back in after a breakout. Downside target, I would like to say somewhere around 16,300. You could probably add again. That's if this ascending trend line breaks, and we'll end up moving this. Down to there possibly. But for now, we're sticking with where we're at on these trend line touches here. So fractals are important. You want to research those as well. Look up the pattern site, thepatternSite.com, and search for search for bullish patterns, and you'll see ascending triangle as one of them. As far as so we talked about the downside target, 16,300. You kind of expect it, and you won't be disappointed. That's another good area to put in a buy order. But also keep in mind, keep an eye out on what Bitcoin is doing at this moment or during that time. If Bitcoin's tanking, if we're going back to 14.4, I could see it. I could see Yearn Finance touching maybe even a little lower than that before it comes back up. Hopefully not too low. Hopefully we don't go to 13,000, and that'll invalidate this ascending triangle. But we'll see what Bitcoin wants to do. What we noticed, what my team and several other good traders noticed, no idea is original. So if you're looking at somebody else's research, it's just like a doctor it's just like a doctor who created polio or any other any other medicine that eradicated a disease. You had a consortium of doctors coming together to verify that information. So don't feel like you have to come up with this information yourself, or that my information invalidates yours. Add mine to yours, and hopefully that helps strengthen your analysis. Or maybe you have to wipe the slate altogether and start over with my data, and you research other YouTubers or crypto Twitter's charts. Keep that in mind. I'm just here to help. I'm just here to help your analysis. So along with everything that we've talked about, that seems to be it. I see a potential for upside. If we measure out this flagpole, we end up seeing somewhere around 10,000. Ends up being somewhere around $10,000 worth, 10,500 if you want to get particular, and I got somewhere around 29,000. That's my hopeful upside target. As I was alluding to a few minutes ago, Yearn Finance tokens like Yearn Finance, Uniswap, Aave, and a few others, it looks like they're absorbing any Bitcoin losses. That Bitcoin is going back into those DeFi tokens. So hopefully that continues. I'm personally out of Bitcoin right now. 14,400, 300 seems to be the downside target for. But that could also mean if Bitcoin bounces off of that price, we potentially have a continuation back up to the upside, and it'll be a healthy retrace. We're not going to zero. If you're going to zero, if you think Bitcoin's going to zero, I say this all the time, then you don't know what you're talking about. Like, that's the simplest way I can put it. $1 billion, $1 trillion corporations aren't getting into Bitcoin now just for it to go to zero. So keep in mind that this ecosystem is here to stay. We're not going back to 7,000. Honestly, Bitcoin's low side target for me would be 11,700. That's absolute worst case scenario. But 14,400 could be a bounce area, or we could just be in a weekend lull because institutional traders, the big boys, they don't trade on the weekends, and this is just potentially a quick rest before they continue trading on Monday. So those are things to keep in mind when you're trading altcoins, how Bitcoin is affecting their price. So if you have any questions, my Twitter and Twitch are below. It's BEG Coins. You can hit me up here on YouTube as well. If you have any questions, hit me up there. Thanks.